In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this stylish on the bust deep neckline basque top. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. So this dress is from Forbes Corner on TikTok. So to start, here is my pattern, and I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurement, which includes my shoulder to bust, under bust, waist, and for my blouse length or basque length of this dress, I'll add extra 5 inches to it. So you can use within 4 to 5 inches for your basque. So the next step I'll take is to mark my shoulder divided by 2. Because this dress has a sleeve, I'll add half inch to it. I'll come down by 1 inch here, and I'll go ahead to connect this. So before going ahead to connect, I'll just mark out this basic neckline of 3 inches, but I'll be extending this much later, and I'll go ahead to connect. After I'm done connecting, I'll go ahead to place my tape, and I'll find my chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I went ahead to mark, and I'll be drawing out a straight line there. So after drawing out my straight line, whatever you have on the shoulder, you're going to replace it on the chest line of your pattern, which is my shoulder divided by 2 plus half. Now I'll place my ruler and draw out a straight line. After this, I'll go ahead to fold what I have here into 2. So after this, I'll mark, and I'll come in by half inch. Here, I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 at my chest line. Now, I'll place my curve drew, and I'll go ahead to connect from that half inch I came in at the armhole, and I'll extend this all the way up. After I'm done extending this, the next step is to mark my dart. Now, I'll go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches. So after marking that, I'm going to go ahead to take my measurements all the way to the lower part of my pattern. So the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my dart intake. I'll go ahead to mark half inch on my waistline, and I'll come down by 1 inch from my bust point. So after that, I'll go ahead to place my ruler, and I'll draw a straight line connecting all those lines that I marked, and I'll take it to my under bust. And for my under bust, I'm going to go ahead to connect it to that 1 inch we came down from the bust point. So after I'm done marking this now, the next step is to insert my measurement. I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. So because there's no dart at that point, I'll add my sewing allowance. Now I'll move down to the under bust. I'm going to mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and I will add my sewing allowance. Now I'll be going down to the waistline, and I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace. So after my waistline, I don't want my blouse to be hanging, so I'll come down by 1.5 inches from my waistline. But first, I'll go ahead to connect my pattern. So after I'm done connecting it, I'll come down from my waist by 1.5 inches. If you don't want that, you can leave your pattern on your waistline, because I don't want mine to be hanging. So what I'll do is to go ahead to blend out my dart. And what you do before carving out your basque is to go in by your sewing allowance, place your ruler, and connect. So after I'm done doing this, right, I'll go ahead to mark a basic neckline of 3.5 inches. I'll extend my neckline a bit. So from here, I'll blend out the shoulder point. So from here, I'll go ahead to reconnect this all the way down. So after I'm done reconnecting this is what I have. If you notice, the neckline is not really straight. So I'll go ahead to connect it to my under bust, and I will outline my pattern. So when you're connecting your neckline, you're not going to draw like a slanted V. You're trying to give it a little curve. Now I'll go ahead to cut this out. So you can decide to blend out your pattern and cut it as one piece, or you can go ahead to cut it out separately. So just like I said, you can leave your pattern as one piece, or you can go ahead to cut this out and merge it up. Now you're going to slash here open to create a little slash and spread on this part of your pattern, so that you can cut it out and then create that little pleat you have here and join it back to the lower part. Now going to the back pattern of this dress, this is what I have, and I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurements just like we did for the front. So when I was labeling my blouse, I actually made a mistake. At the under bust part, you notice I wrote waist, so take note that is my under bust. So next I'll go ahead to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches. So after this, I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'll draw out a straight line. So now the next step is to take your dart intake. So I'm going to mark ½ inch at my waistline. So when I was marking this pattern, I mistakenly marked out my under bust because I made the mistake of writing that point at my under bust as my waist, so I went ahead to correct that. So I'll just go ahead and clean it off, and we are going to readjust the dart. Now going to my waist, I'll mark ½ inch at both sides. Then I'll go ahead to connect this all the way up, and after connecting, I'll connect on the other side of my pattern. Then I'll extend it down. So after marking this, I went ahead to use my marker to outline this so that it's going to be visible and you're not going to mistake the dart for the previous one we cut out. Here I'll mark the bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Now you can add your under bust measurement, or you can just go down to your waist, mark your waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. Now I'll take that measurement I have at my waist all the way down and I will outline this. Then I'll go ahead to use my marker to outline the rest of my pattern. So after this, I'll mark my basic neckline of 3.5 inches, come down by 1.5, or you can use 1 inch, and I'll go ahead to connect. So for my zipper measurement, I used 1.5 inches. Here I'll come in by ½ inch. This is to get rid of the bulginess at the back. I'll extend this all the way up and I'll be taking it down. So now you can decide to replace this at the side just to avoid reducing your sewing allowance at the waistline, or you can just go ahead to cut it out. Now I'll just go ahead and cut out my pattern. So I didn't get to see the back pattern, so I'm just leaving it as a basic back pattern. So if you have any question regarding this pattern drafting, go ahead to leave your question at the comment section. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead to hit on the subscribe button. So this is the final result.